I should probably put that on. Let's see here. We're gonna go to focus and do not disturb. How about that? Oh. Who's here? Who's in chat already? Hey, what's going on? He went to go get a drink, and we're starting it slow.
Oh, hello, I'm back.
He's back.
What up, chair stream? What's up, Rolls? Just have to go upstairs and get a beverage. Look at all the padding. That's because all the padding's up here and none is down here. All right, that's what's happening here. You're cracking me up.
Lumbar support for days.
Yeah, I'm glad he didn't see the old hemorrhoid pillow, right? That's what it's all about. Here on the Mid-Geek Crisis, where we are getting older every single day.
Yep, absolutely. How's what is it? What is this? Is this preseason? Is that what we call in baseball preseason? Do they have preseason, or is it just like spring?
It's when they release the new EA Sports game, right? That's preseason. Yeah, it's spring training, man. But it's not started yet, has it?
No, well, I mean they've been playing games. They've been playing all the like fun little games and whatever else.
Opening day Eve, is that today?
Yeah. I think we're starting up. I think the opening day is tomorrow.
I've become the worst baseball fan since I moved out of New York City. There isn't much.
They play baseball in New York?
Really? greatest team in the world plays there, my man.
And the Mets. The Mets, that's right.
It is not the Mets.
The Mets, yeah, you're right.
I know everybody likes to hate on the Yankees because nobody likes a winner. Nobody likes the greatest winner of all time.
Yeah. Even though we still have a chance right now. Yeah, everyone's got a chance right now.
Orioles, come on. Whatever happened to the White Sox? Do we not pick on the White Sox anymore?
No, man. They haven't been white in a while. Like it's, buddy.
2022 Mets season in a nutshell. Closer had a cool entrance.
Oh man. Oh man, the Mets. They're gonna get theirs. Didn't they win like within our lifetime? Haven't they won a few championships?
Yeah, they won a World Series in our lifetime.
Yeah, that's right. I do remember within our
lifetime. We were around before 1986.
Yes.
The Miracle Mets of 1986.
Miracle Mets. Yeah, that's right.
I think they've gotten close since then, but they haven't won since then.
No, that's not how it works in baseball.
They got a new stadium otherwise, Yeah. So that's what you
get. They get one.
They get one new stadium.
No, that's in they get one championship, and they're like, okay, that's it.
We've given Queens as close a taste as they'll ever get to winning the series again.
I will say they probably have the best owner, and I don't follow all that. I mean, you know what? Interesting. And again, we speak sports at the beginning of the show and at the end of the show. That's usually when it comes right down.
It's just for rolls. It's just for rolls.
But I finally sat down and I was like, okay, let me read these new rules, because have you read the new rules for the MLB?
No.
So there's 3 new rules in baseball this season. One is they've killed the switch, so they can't like a right-handed batter can't go up and then like they shift the shift. They killed the shift, so the outfield can't shift.
Okay.
So you can't do that. The pitch clock, so 15 seconds.
You got to pitch within 15 seconds?
Yeah, minor league's been doing it for years.
Wow. Okay.
And then the bigger bases. So the bases have been enlarged because statistically there has been way less stolen bases because of it, and also because the pitcher kind of sits there on the mound. It makes it like a steal's not worth it. Like the pitcher's sitting out there and he's like checking the runner over and over and over again, and he's got all this time on the mound, and the batter steps off and all this crap. So like So no one no, there's like 1 to 2 steals a game, I think is what the statistic is, what I saw. And
how many steals should there be a game?
Well, they're wanting the game to be a little more fast-paced and exciting. It's like the steal has become kind of like a thing that no one does anymore. At least that's what I was reading. I mean, again, I didn't think it was possible.
Physically. It's too risky physically for the amount of
rolls.
For the payoff of a steal. These baseball players who are paying millions of dollars to be in fit physiques have to sprint.
Right. So they've made
the pitcher has to throw an extra pitch. It's not worth the fit.
I know. I get it. But they're giving up. They're tipping the scales a little bit and making it more lucrative, right? The base is bigger now, so it's easier to grab and touch, and it's just like a whole thing. I don't think I agree with you, Rolls. I mean, I've been I'll have to take a show with my hatred for the new. I could go on an hour. I honestly, the pitch clock, I think is the best thing. That's the one thing I hate about baseball. I can't stand it. That's the only reason I can't watch it during the normal season. It's everyone just like lollygags.
Jesus Christ, a football game is like 12 minutes of action in 400 minutes.
Yeah, but I mean, like at least I get fun commercials, like whatever.
Oh,
like
you get 90% car commercials.
Also,
football.
To be fair, to be fair, I agree with you. That's why I watch Red Zone. So like, Red Zone is essentially like all the games on one channel, and they only flip when they're in the red zone.
Yeah, but how much do you pay for Red Zone?
Red Zone's pretty cheap, but I pay for the entire package. But
you pay for the entire package to watch football to make it enjoyable. You watch edited football.
Yeah.
And so you're complaining about baseball games?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I can't. You know what?
Oh man, baseball, man! It's the only sport where you're like, it's 2:00 in the afternoon on a Thursday. Why is there a game going on? What is happening right now? But yeah, no, I mean, look, I get it. Baseball is like people are like, it's supposed to be strategy. It's supposed to be whatever.
Game. Yes.
Yeah, but like also, I was watching. Apparently, the 15-second rule had been around before. Like the game was faster paced back in the day, and then we've the bigger the stars and the endorsements and all of that has changed the rules, and there's just been like all sorts of like things that have made it like drawn out. Again, I'm just saying, I'm just repeating what people are saying.
Product of capitalism?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, baby.
So yeah, I mean, money has definitely corrupted the game, but money has corrupted every game. Basketball is less exciting. Football is garbage. Football is total garbage. It is the most garbage sport of all garbage sports. And fight me on this. I will fight everyone on this. I will take you all on one at a time on this as football.
You don't have the back for it.
Huh?
your back would throw your back out.
I didn't say I'd win.
Yeah.
I just said I'd go. 15-second clock. There you go. Football has been garbage for 15 years.
It's still America's sport now. Like,
yeah,
honestly.
no, I mean, that just tells me that America is also garbage, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no denying that, sir. Like, come on.
Like birds of a feather.
Look,
Smash.
Game recognizes game.
Game recognizes game.
Game recognizes game, sir. So yeah. Yeah, and also I give the XFL credit, which apparently is not going to be around. At least from my understanding, it's got super bad ratings, and we don't even know if it's going to be around next season. I don't even know what's going on.
Is that like arena football? How long has that been around, XFL? I feel like
it just started again this season. It started before COVID, and then COVID messed it all up, and then The Rock bought it, and now it's
The Rock is trying to make XFL happen. Amazing.
Well, I mean, he invested a ton of money into it, but I think it's a bad deal right now for him.
No wonder why he had to do that Disney movie. He needed that money back.
Man, he does any role. If it involves a jungle, he'll do it.
It's a media empire for him.
If he's gonna be in a jungle, he's gonna put on some safari gear. It's like, I got this. And then Kevin Hart's like, what are we doing? What's our next role? And he's like, wait, are you part of the package? He's like, yeah, we're a package deal now. So like,
is someone talking? I can't.
Anyway, let's roll these credits and we'll talk about PAX. Let's go. Let's how does this work again?
Come on, you got this.
I got this. Let's you know what? I don't understand. They put this background music option, but I have to go turn off the background music before I roll the credits.
I thought that was some Chrome tab I had open somewhere. I was looking for it.
No, I just had some jazz music to keep it going. Let's go.
Distracting.
Boom. Hey everyone, welcome to the Mid-Geek Crisis episode. I don't remember. I didn't add a number to it. I forgot. But it is PAX, post-PAX 2023. And this whole episode, whether there was news or not, is irrelevant. We're going to be talking about PAX and all of the stuff that we watched and played and did and didn't do and missed out on and what.
So we're not even going to touch on that toy company and 4chan. We're not even gonna talk about.
I mean, we can sprinkle it in there. So sprinkle some news in there for sure under the topicalness. That's a funny story.
This is the post PAX unpacks.
Unpacks. I haven't unpacked. It's all.
We can make this work. Let's workshop it later.
The workshop. We got it. I can change it. So everyone, welcome. It is post PAX. Before, I would have to say a few years ago, I would have been like in PAX. Good cup. I got my water bottles. I got two. I would have been like depressed that PAX is over, but my God, with the 4 days now, and the amount of things to do and the amount of walking I did and the movement, I'm tired. I don't think I could have done another day of PAX.
I couldn't do another day Sunday morning, so I'm with you on that. I was done Sunday morning. My voice hasn't come back, Joe.
I hit the floor on Sunday.
I know.
I hit the floor, and I got some funny stories about Sunday. That was
all right, bring it on. I haven't had a chance to hear them yet.
You know what? I'll start backwards. That's right. So Pedro wasn't there for it on Sunday. He left earlier. He caught a train back to his ride and headed back to the deep dark woods that is Syracuse. My flight back from Boston to Dallas was scheduled for 5:50 a.m. on Monday, and so what I normally do is I'll grab a cheaper hotel, just a single night at somewhere off of the away, and it's not actually that far, which is so funny because I'm gonna take a look at what it costs during the year because I really like that hotel. I paid like a third of the price that a night at the Westin cost, and the room's nicer. Actually, it's actually
a third of the Wednesday night.
Well, right. A third of the Wednesday night for sure. So, I pack up my stuff when everyone else we all check out right around the same time, give or take, and I put my stuff in the the lobby with the the check-in. What do we call that? What is that? Yeah, and I went and decided I was like last year I was so tired that I just grabbed an Uber and went right to the hotel. This year I was like, you know what? I'm going to hit the floor again one more time. That's what I did. I went down the floor and I was walking around and, went to go hit up some last minute, little booths and whatever else indie games that I didn't get to play. And I wanted to hit the Animal Well booth one more time, which is, I'll be talking about that game in a little bit, is the game. It is a single man game done by a developer called Billy Basso. It was showcased on the Day of the Dev little stream that they did for the E3 Summer of Gaming thing that they had. I want to say last year, not even this summer, last summer. Mm-hmm. And I was sold with that game, and that's the same one that showed like the fun Little Nemo game that I ended up kickstarting like immediately. So I was excited to see that game on the show floor. And one of the big stories about that game is that game was picked up by a new publisher, and that publisher happens to be a very famous YouTube individual called he's got a huge channel called Donkey. He's a comedy kind of YouTuber. He's got a very specific voice. I mean, if you heard the voice, you've probably seen a video of him or whatever. Anyway, he's hilarious, funny video, funny guy. His face in it, he doesn't match his voice. That's the best way I could put it. Anyone who's ever heard his voice on his videos are like, you sound different. Like it's like best way to put it. Maybe his race or his nationality don't match the voice is the best way to put it.
All right.
But anywho, sure enough, he started a new publishing. He, after all the critique and the fun and everything else, he decided he was going to publish games. So he created a company called Big Mode. And right after the Day of the Dev, he saw that game and he was interested in it. And he reached out, and now he's the publisher. That is going to be his first game. And Sure enough, he randomly announced that he was going to be there, and it was kind of a hush-hush thing. He's one of the biggest YouTubers for video games, and he was just sitting at the booth. So I got to walk up to him, talk to him, take a couple of pictures.
Cool. Let's see the picture.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, yeah. So this is going to be interesting because one of the other complaints I have about PAX is the masks. I think the masks need to go. I think.
All right, Texas.
Yeah, Texas.
All right. What about my freedoms?
Yeah.
What's up, Crappy Video Store? Thanks for jumping on.
I would normally not. I would be okay with the mask scenario. It's just everywhere else in the entirety of the city and didn't require it, and it made it really hard to interact. All the devs that I spoke to were frustrated. They were. There was a lot of screaming, a lot of like yelling. You can't hear, you can't take pictures, you can't do anything. Mm-hmm. A lot of like, the communication aspect of PAX is very hard to do. If this was right in the middle of the pandemic or post the pandemic, but I think I get it. I understand. Like, it's hard to kind of like say this because I get it. I understand. Like, you can still get sick. You pass it, whatever else. But like, no one else is enforcing it at this point, and it just makes it harder.
Yeah, I mean, they had an enforcer die last year from COVID. I think it's still raw for them.
For sure. For sure. I think this was a reaction to that. Hopefully we don't get any like major like super spreader style like stories coming out of PAX, and then maybe they can go, okay, looks like we were good. Maybe next year we can do like mask optional, do the hand washing thing kind of like they did in 2020, and move on from that. Just lower it a bit.
Yeah, let's hope we're not in another pandemic mode next year.
Let's hope. That said, though, so I got to take some pictures with developers, and again, like I said, I got to take a picture with this particular one. And let me pull up this picture because I do have all my pictures up.
Crappy Video Store. Yeah, no, okay. I can call you Tim. You're right. Sometimes I'm not sure, but yeah, I will endeavor.
So I mean, it's hard to kind of show this picture. I mean, again, it's a face. You don't even know who the guy looks like, right? Like that was also one of the big things. Like, all my pictures with people are like giant masks on their face. Like, it could be anybody.
So what? Look at you. You got your guy. Look at him. And the demo back there is pretty cool.
Yeah, it was right there, right next to it. Nice. So
it's true. You could be taking a picture with anybody.
Yeah, anybody you want. And at this point, it would just be like, sure. Let's whoever that is. We talked to the developer, so that was cool. Like, I got to hang out and see someone that is pretty cool. And I would have missed that if I hadn't been on the floor. And then I went back and I said goodbye to a couple of other individuals that I had met during the show floor. I had hung out with some HP engineers that they were manning all of the Omen booth. So HP had a big old booth, and they were complaining as well because the way they laid them out, I guess because they were sponsoring all of the equipment for the esports. They put their booth right next to the esport, but they couldn't talk to anyone at their booth because the esports was so loud.
It was just blasting in their ears.
Blasting them. And they were just like, we can't. Like, it was like everyone's asking us a question, and they were trying to like release new displays. They had new displays on like they had announced them the day of PAX, and they couldn't talk to anybody about them. So that was another one that was just like, why did they do this? And also, plus of that, you're yelling, there's masks on. It was just a mess for them. But that said, though, they were all local to the Texas area as well, because HP's, one of their big divisions is here in the Houston area down. And so said goodbye to them, and I told them that Donkey was there, and we walked back over there, introduced them. So that was cool. Then I said, that's it. I'm done. Like, I'm tired. I've walked around, whatever. And I get a text message from a random booth that I had entered, and I won a TV.
Like, of course you did.
Yeah, of course I did. Whatever. My luck wasn't the best this weekend for sure.
But you won a TV. Dude.
I won a TV. Well, I mean, so yeah. So like, I couldn't win like a PC or a video card. Hey, TV's awesome. TV's awesome. Yeah. Of course, I didn't get the TV. I can't bring home a TV, right? It's like here's a 60-inch TV for you, yay! And I'm like, I can't take that on the plane. So I was like, I walked up to the booth and I was like, hey, so I won this TV. What's the deal? And they're like, well, you're gonna have to pick it up at the end of the show, whatever else, and we'll put it back in the box or whatever, because that's what they're doing, right? Like, a lot of these, if you're not familiar, some of these big shows and conventions, a lot of the developers show up, they buy all this equipment on site. They go to like Best Buy or whatever and buy these TVs or whatever, and
the dog's trying to break in.
Dogs. They have all this equipment, but they can't take it with them. So what do? Is they give it away, they raffle it, they do whatever. And that's what happened. I guess I entered a raffle. I put in my email, like, I didn't even know I was entering for that. I just wanted contact because they were a vendor that was selling some pretty cool like streaming stuff, like camera mounts and whatever else. And I guess I want a TV, which I didn't know I was entering for. At that said, I was like, okay, well, let me get back to you on that. And I immediately walked over to the FedEx booth. The FedEx, they have, in the con, if you're familiar with these big cons, there's always like some sort of like shipping for this specific reason, right? Like you win something, you have to send back boxes or whatever. Even though it's a Sunday, the FedEx facility's open. I walked up to them and I was like, so I've got this size TV, whatever. How much is it for shipping? And it was like $150.
Okay, not bad.
Not worth it. I was like, I just wasn't worth it. So what did I do? I went, do you want a TV? And the guy's like, what? And I'm like, you, FedEx guy, do you want the TV? And he's like, and he turned to his friend. He's like, there were only 2 of them working there. And I was like, well, check it with him. Make sure he's okay with it. And he was like, yeah, sure. And I was like, well, okay, here you go. So I messaged the guy that I wanted from, like, here's this guy's going to go pick it up. Here's whatever. He got a TV. I gave the TV away.
The FedEx guy a 60-inch TV? That's
I gave
awesome.
the FedEx guy a TV. His name was Paulo. Hopefully he's enjoying it.
That's
4K
great.
TV. Well, I just, like at this point, it was just like pass it forward, right? Pay it forward. I mean, I could have handed it off to someone on the floor, but I didn't know anyone else on the floor. Everyone that I had met there that weekend wasn't even local to the Boston area. Everyone that used to live in the Boston area no longer lives in the Boston area, right? So like all of our buddies, they've all moved out. So I didn't know anyone else to give it to.
Note to self, go right. Booth in next year's PAX.
So yeah, that said, I mean,
any way we can get you to PAX, man, that'd be great.
Yeah. Any way to get anyone to PAX.
Crossover Appeal says, did you at least make him subscribe to the
I gave him my info for sure.
Did you work the brand?
Of course I worked the brand. I worked the brand all weekend, buddy. Like, that's how it works. That's how it works.
Tim, like, Cautious could use a 4K TV. That's too big an upgrade. I'm still on 720. 720. It's too big an upgrade. I can't go that high up.
That was just a weird scenario. Like, it was just a cavalcade of like weirdness that Sunday. I ran it, like, there was some smaller ones. I can't remember them all off the top of my head, but I remember just the entire time I was on the floor. I'm like, I would have missed all of this. Like, what happened? Like,
you would have missed all of this because Sunday was a different vibe, right?
I guess. Sunday was a really good vibe. It felt like Thursday. All of the booths were pretty empty. I walked up and did a few demos again. I did the Pokemon demo again. Nice. I did. There was a lot of smaller demos. I played Toxic Crusaders again. I went through and I played Aliens Descent. So that was another fun one. And by the way, if anyone familiar, I'll pull up some video on that in a second. Alien Descent is on my list. It is Aliens XCOM. It is exactly that. It is a 4.
Hey, why wait? Put them up. Put up some of the games we tried.
It is a 4-player XCOM game. 4-player XCOM game. It was cool. It was very cool. I'm excited to play that when it comes out.
Get my head around that 4-player XCOM game. All right.
Yeah. It definitely was. Come on, let's move it. Move out the way. Get out of the screen.
For the record, everyone, the Crossover Appeal was at PAX East with us and got to enjoy PAX East. I'm going to talk about the board game we played together.
Yeah.
Later, Crossover Appeal. You're going to get my review. Oh, we could do it. We could do like an actual. Is that like a YouTube video? Am I doing this right, Joe?
Yeah. There you go. Gotta do that. Official gameplay. There we go. Boom. There's a good trailer right there. I will pull that up. Pull up some audio there. But yeah, this is a really cool game. It's a kind of a. Usually companies get these brands. I mean, we have had really bad luck with the Alien brand. We had Alien Isolation was really good, but then we had Colonial Marines by Gearbox, which was
good for the memes.
Good for the memes. Absolute garbage game. And yeah, that was a bad choice of like just a bad let's pull that up. We'll bring up the audio there and then
Welcome to this exclusive first look at Aliens Dark Descent. In this short preview, we reveal what kind of experience awaits you.
So
all right, we got the alien. We got no sound. Oh, now we got sound.
Yeah.
Dark Descent is a real-time squad-based tactical action game.
Real-time squad-based.
You are the
It's
commander.
XCOM, man. They just don't want to say
Marines
XCOM.
are your weapon.
But it's real-time.
Yeah.
You are tasked with investigating a sinister uprising that caused a vicious xenomorph outbreak on the moon.
This was awesome.
Your squad
Good
is
demo.
controlled fluidly and intuitively as one unit, where any command you issue is automatically dispatched to the Marines best equipped for the task.
All right.
Whether you're using mouse and keyboard or a controller, we want you to be fully immersed in the world and the iconic
Lies. It's going to be better at one or
You
the
know
other.
what to do. Lead strategically. Enter
I definitely
combat
played on
with
PC.
outbreaking
For sure.
stride, slowing down time at the touch of a button, just enough to distribute tactical orders with military.
Are they killing
precision.
humans? Whoa.
Well, they're like
Tread carefully, though.
infected
because
or whatever.
death is permanent in Dark Descent. And losing a Marine in combat is irreversible.
Yeah, so I was talking to one of the developers there,
Forge unique
and
paths for survival.
the characters will develop fears,
Explore large open
which will be
levels to
buffs or
complete story
debuffs
missions
as they
and side
progress.
objectives.
So they might be afraid of a certain type of xenomorph, and
Look-
like
Don't call them traumas, is what
Yeah.
they're
Loyal
saying. Don't call them
Marines with
traumas.
Special
Yeah.
abilities, perks,
Wow.
and gear, and customize the squad composition to optimize each run. At Tindalos, we're extremely excited to bring this game to all fans of the legendary Aliens license and to all the real-time action strategy fans.
and also
Real-
the aliens. Yeah, it comes out soon.
Real-time action strategy.
Yeah,
It's
real-time
like-
action strategy.
it's like
Coming out for Series
Diablo?
X. It's like I said, when I played it, I was like, this is XCOM. Like it just like you control everything. It's like boom, slow it down. You can slow it. It plays very much like the
Like Baldur's Gate, maybe? Baldur's
yeah.
Gate was like real-time action, right?
yeah, a little bit of Baldur's Gate, all that.
Ooh.
It plays really good. It played pretty smooth. It didn't take long to kind of get used to it. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of min-maxing, a lot of like,
Yeah.
but what I liked and what the developer was saying is like there is no single location that the xenomorphs will come out of. The maps might look like they're linear, but they can crawl from any part. Which is like, so
you got to be ready from all angles.
from all angles, and they're not scripted. As in, like, if everyone's facing one way, they might come out from the opposite direction.
I got
All
you.
sorts of like little things.
Who is-
Taldi, it's a smaller. They were a smaller booth, definitely a smaller booth, and
Was it Talos?
Talos, I think is what it was.
All right.
Yeah, let me make sure I get that right.
Aliens, Dark Descent.
Yeah, Dark Descent. So you could pull up that. But yeah, it looked great. It played great. It was it'll be a good Steam Deck game. I think it'll be a good, console game for sure, but definitely a good PC game if you like that stuff. If you like RTS, and that kind of stuff with mouse and keyboard, a little more strategy based. I think that'll be the optimal way to play it. But
So the developer is Tindalos Interactive, and the publisher is Focus Entertainment. Focus did Atomic Hearts, right?
yeah, they did Atomic Hearts. So it was in that same booth. So what was interesting is this is the bigger franchise they had, but they didn't exactly have like a big display for it. It was like amongst all of their other titles there.
I didn't even see it. I would have stopped. I mean, I walked by Atomic Hearts.
I stopped at that Focus Entertainment booth, and I was just like, okay, what do you guys got here? Do you have a big booth? What do you like? Atomic Hearts already came out, and then sure enough, I was like, wait a minute, oh, that Aliens game, and yeah, I sat down and played the demo. Like it was
very cool.
Yeah. So hit us with something you played.
Yeah, literally anyone should be allowed to take that crack at that. Like
Yeah,
you can't be worse than.
I mean, it doesn't take
totally
it, like what's interesting is we've had so many space sci-fi horror games that we really do have the template already out there. Like we've already done like the Dead Space, and we've done all of these like other style like games, like
none of which would exist without Aliens.
None of them would exist without Aliens. So why haven't we had an Alien game that actually is the franchise? Why is Dead Space like the one everyone thinks of for sci-fi? Like,
because everyone wants a different thing out of the Aliens franchise. I think,
right.
A lot of folks want the James Cameron. Other folks want the original Alien. Right? There's like a lot of different ways, and the compelling part of it are the characters, the stories that build. It's tough to build that franchise and make it multiplayer and monetize it and all the good stuff they try to do. Like I thought the Aliens game, the 3-player Aliens game that came out on Xbox Pass was pretty good. It just I didn't want to play it that much because it was designed for you to play forever.
Yeah. And
I played what did I play? I played this one was on your recommendation. I went back there and I got to play it. So let me throw it up there.
Oh, you're gonna pull up Beast Begone?
I'm gonna pull up, Be Gone Beast.
Be Gone Beasts,
which was fun as heck. Let's see.
Fun as heck. What a
sound?
surprising little game.
Sound for you there, Joe?
I don't know. I can hear it. Yeah, pull that up. So these developers, this is Be Gone Beasts. This developer is based out of Houston. They're Filipino, and they're actually from like Sugar Land, Southwest Houston, Alma area of town. And so we were talking, and the art style of the little girl reminds me of Lilo a little bit, in that style. But it is cute. Like, it's a 4-player top-down co-op, very like Gauntlet style. Every character has its own like move set. And from what they were telling me is, I think the premise is they're in a hotel maybe, and they're hunting down demons that have come out. Yep. And the big one, the big boss for this demo is Mr. Peekaboo was his name. And the screaming was so good. When you run to speed up, it's like right trigger, and they scream. So like the and that makes them run faster.
Each character had their own weapon that had a unique fight style. They're talking about upgrades later for each weapon having their own unique upgrade, developing sort of matching your play style. It was like short run through Gauntlet style, like you said, to get to a big boss fight, which was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
And then you have to escape the boss to bring the boss back to a summoning circle.
To a summoning circle, right? So at the very beginning of the level, you get in a big room, and then it's like, use the chalk, and then you draw like this big summoning circle. But the summoning circle is, of course, drawn by kids, so it's like all cutesy. Like
it's like monster and
little monsters and whatever else. But it's a
adorable game. I enjoyed the puzzle aspect. I enjoyed the fun. There was a lot more interactions on the screen than I thought there would be, right? When I was playing, I was like, oh my gosh, you can knock down furniture, you can bounce things around.
Also, the slide move.
It was
so satisfying. So there's this move, so like you're running from the demons or whatever, and if you want to go like there's a table in the way, you can hit the slide button, you jump and slide down a long table, and running away from the big monster at the end and the tables and whatever chairs. If there's a chair, you'll dive under it. If there's like a long table, you'll slide on top of it. I mean, it was just a very good move and very well programmed. The surprising thing about this was, as I was talking to them, and it looked so good and it played so well, even though they had a couple crashes or whatever, and they had to like trigger things to kind of get it going. 6 weeks.
Yeah.
6 weeks. It was 6 weeks of
really fun 4-player couch game in 6 weeks.
In 6 weeks.
Design, yeah. The most satisfying part for me, and I had everyone laughing with me, is you could fly across the tables, and the tables were like set up for like dinner. So they had like cups and glasses and food. And when you hit them with your face, you're like, and like they're all breaking and shattering behind you because you could blow up furniture as well. They had so many cool interactions in the game.
Yeah, and again, it just surprised me. Couch
co-op, it's great. Online and couch co-op, which are
online and a couch co-op. Very good. Yeah. What character did you play with?
I played with the bear.
Which one? What weapon was that? That was at the.
It was the hammer.
The hammer. Yeah, it was the big hammer. Yeah.
It's pretty. You can hold down for power attacks.
For power attacks. I played as a little girl, so she had the big yellow like energy sword, and it was just like boom, boom, and it's just like when it would charge, it would get like really big and like just stab forward,
clear space out. And then there was like a bow and like daggers.
The bow was good. The bow was a little OP, man. It was like sit back and just like it was a little rabbit throwing that. Yeah. And it was a bear, rabbit, and I can't remember. Oh, the frog. So the little frog character, she was a little girl wizard, and her character was fun because she'd throw like little bolts, but her charge move, she'd throw out this giant green star, and the star would just like sit there and like undulate, just cause damage, like an AoE for a little bit.
Yeah, it was good. It was a lot of fun. And the boss fight was cleverly designed. I mean, classic. If you played any kinds of games like this, you're like, oh, got to get the bombs in the mouth, right? It's just like these classic sort of designs done a little differently, and like Crossover Appeal says, the animation was really nice and gorgeous lighting, and everything was really satisfying. The buttons, the clicks, the interactions were great. So I enjoyed that one. Sat down and played it. It was great.
Yeah, that was fantastic. What else did I play? I played so many titles on the floor. I really, really was enjoying the floor this year. I enjoyed the floor a lot this year because while it felt like there was less, I didn't feel like there was a lot of fluff this year on the floor. And not to disparage any indie developer, but there's a lot of games I've played at PAX that I've never made it out. They've never I've never seen them. I've never heard of them. They weren't like they've just like
they didn't make it to the finish line.
They didn't make it to the finish line, and that's that's sad for sure. I wish everyone could just finish, because the passion that you see from these devs, which is my favorite part about PAX, is talking to the developers. And one particular developer was there that I had to, I got to give him a shout out, and I'm going to bring him up. It's a game that I played at PAX South 2017. And this particular title is interesting because it's called Shot One. And the individuals behind this game, they had already announced it and started working on this game before .emu released the Windjammers remake and the Windjammers sequel, Windjammers and Windjammers 2. And if anyone's familiar with Windjammers, it is a Neo Geo title, which is kind of like a battle disc Pong game. Think about the disc game on Tron, for say.
Sure.
So you bounce it against the walls, and so you bounce it, and like the whole idea is like try to get it in the net behind him, but you can block it and catch it. And there's like power moves and charge moves and whatever else. So .emu, got the rights to it. Talking to the developers, Andrew and Sergio, I think is his name, and I'm gonna double check all that. Talking to them, they were telling me that they were trying to get the license for Windjammers, and they were trying to make a Windjammers game. And sure enough, when they went to the rights holder, .emu had already started the ball on that. So they hit them before it. But one of the things, the blessing and a curse, because while their game isn't out yet, because they're a small team, 2 individuals based out of Austin, they are no longer tied to the Windjammers game, right? Like, and that's kind of like one of those things where name recognition means that you have to have you have to meet a certain set of rules.
Sure,
if you change the gameplay too much, then it's no longer that game, and then the fans of that title won't like it. They're like, I like the original, this new one.
See, everything related to nerds ever. Yes, I got
right. It. Everything with nerds. That's the way it's always been. And sure enough, it's one of those things where if you if you're making a game, you get to now bring it up. And so what caught my eye back in 2017 was the art style. The logo and the art style was very Capcom style, very Capcom fighter style.
Sure.
And the logo looked like the old Rival Schools logo. As a matter of fact, I remember talking to him back then. He's like,
that was my style at the time. Yeah,
that style at the time. So it's like the big orange and blue sphere, very Marvel vs. Capcom, very and the art style was very, just cool. Let me pull that up here. So I'm going to share this right here, and I'm going to make sure
Rita says, remember playing at PAX South 2020? I remember they scratched everything and redesigned all the characters. So there we go.
Yeah. So yeah, they scrapped everything and kind of started. But when I went there, so there's the game right there. I didn't take any video from it. Go look them up. Shot One. Great merchandise, great art style. I bought a play mat. I gave them money, and I praised them. I was like, I've been following you guys, following their development, their art, and just really just kind of geeked out with them a little bit, because it's nice to see them again, and they said that COVID had been hard on them and they had to like hold back, and development was hard but now they're here, they're ready to go, they've got all their characters, their roster, the art looks good, the sound design is really good, there's a story mode, way more content than any of the Windjammer games for sure. And if you like that kind of fast-paced fighting game, sports game, I guess the best way to put it, because it doesn't require you to know a sport or like a sport, but it's like a fighting game, right? You just pick a character, you pick a character, get a special move, and you just play Pong, play like battle Pong or air hockey or however you want to play it or whatever else. But special moves and the big bombastic special moves like all the Capcom fighting games. And as you can see from the art style right there, it's all very bright, very vivid, very colorful. The sound and everything design is just fantastic, and I'm excited for them. And like I stated before,
when
my
does
favorite
this
part.
game drop? Shot One.
We don't know. We don't know. As a matter of fact, according to them, they technically haven't even announced it. Is kind of the best way to put it. They haven't actually.
So all right. So did you? I mean, I feel like I have to ask this, right? What are you doing here? Right? What are you doing here if you haven't even announced it, and you're ready to drop something?
So I think they might be a little gun shy. I'll talk to them more on Twitter and find out what's going on. They've obviously got a little cult following. People were hitting up that booth. The word of mouth.
Citizen.
What's that? Yes, sure.
I'm just.
Although, to be fair, these guys haven't fleeced anybody for millions of dollars on Kickstarter.
Put
for
something
sure.
out there, though, is all I'm saying.
But I think this is one of those.
Oh, there's the Cult of the Lamb booth back there, which is the biggest, most gratuitous one back there. Think of Mario Tennis, as Rita says.
Yeah, so think of Mario Tennis. What's interesting is this is one of those games where they've made the character so likable. It's almost like a hero shooter in a way.
True.
Right? Like everyone's already identified and picked out their character because they like it, even though the game isn't out yet. They've got a Discord. I think they've got a couple of alpha builds out there that they've tested with some people. I think eventually, I think to answer your question is this is one of those games where they're small and they probably don't want to just release on Steam. They want to release on console, but they need a publisher. That might be one of those things. This is one of those scenarios where I think they're shopping for a publisher. And I'm just spitballing here. I don't know. I haven't talked to them. I can't speak for it. But if a publisher picks them up, then they can dump some good money at them and maybe, give them that dev kit or get them that license for a PlayStation 5 or whatever else. And
I got it.
Let them go.
They just need a hand up.
A hand up. Yeah, man. So
I get it.
Go check them out. Go, they're _shot1 on Twitter. They've got a Discord. They've got great art style. I mean, they threw stickers at me and whatever else. I bought a pin. I bought a playmat. And they had a great sweater. That shirt, that design was really good. I might order it online from them. I've been following them, like I said, for a long time, and the gameplay looked fantastic. It was definitely one of those end cap booths that people were just walking up and like you see the cheering and the woo, because just that adrenaline, that pump. And
the matches look pretty cool.
The matches look good, exciting. So that was one of mine. Again, another one that I enjoyed. And again, developers that were very friendly, very had good personalities, and you could see the passion coming out of their game. And that's what excites me about some of these.
So a lot of roguelike games. I played a few here and there. I won't get into them. I like a good roguelike. There's one called Death Roads. That one's coming out.
Play that one.
Yeah, that one,
Death Roads.
Death Roads. It's like a Mad Maxy kind of game. So let me see if I can pull that one up here.
Go on.
Right here. Yeah, so go on, he says.
By the way, for all these games that we're talking about, the best way to find it is there is a PAX East portal on Steam.
Yep.
You can actually just type it on Google, just type in like PAX East Steam, and you're going to get a page. And PAX East 2023 and all of their games that they've showed, not all of them, actually, some of them are missing on here because I guess they weren't ready for Steam or whatever, but most of them have audio, if they've got a demo that they had on the floor that's available, they'll have the demo on there. If they've got early release or anything like that, or they're doing
a lot of them have early dev access. This is one of the games that's got early dev access. This is like a card game.
Last year that was your like crux, man.
I mean, I'm a sucker for a deck building roguelike. I think the combination of the two scratches that gambling itch that I'm always looking for. So this one here, you got to upgrade your guys. You got to get as far as you can. Let me see, can I rewind this? No, of course not. Why would
I think so. I think you can.
Yeah,
just drag. Yeah.
No, whatever. So, I don't know what happened here. Anyway, this is a game where, you get cards. You can upgrade your drivers. You can upgrade your vehicles. There's different weapons and cards interact in different ways. So you've got like a starter deck that you add on as you get on the road. I don't know how funny folks on here might remember Thunder Road. I think there was a Kickstarter for it. It's an old board game where you're kind of going across a map and there's wrecks and things you have to avoid and you're rolling dice to see how far you can get, but you're also dodging cars. So it's a pretty neat looking concept in my mind, right? What
was this game called? The
Death Road.
Death Road. Let's see if I can find some on it.
It was a pretty neat game. Let me see, what else did I play? I also played Serenity Force. So it seemed like there's a good combination of roguelikes and deck builders, which I love.
Oh, here we go.
And Final Fantasy Tactic clones, which I also love, right? These games are all out there. Wild Frost was another one. I thank you, Crossover, because I was totally trying to remember that one. Nice tactics, great art. And Chucklefish is fantastic, right? Chucklefish is the folks behind what's that? Stardew Valley, right? That's Chucklefish. Chucklefish games. So that was there as well, Wild Frost. So that's on the list of roguelikes I want to try eventually. I'm just a sucker for this kind of like, how do I optimize my deck to get to the end kind of game all the time.
And also I'm a fan of any game that looks like it's faster paced than it is, right?
Yeah.
Like it's still a deck building game. You still get some time, but there's still like some velocity, some movement, some like, it still gives you that pace of like, gotta move forward, and it probably, I'm guessing this game rewards you for speed as well.
It probably rewards you for speed, and you're going to feel that pressure because the car's moving. You're going to make decisions a little faster. You might get bonuses there. So all sorts of neat things. And yeah, you can customize your vehicle so that you go out with the right bonuses. There's like drive speed. There's fuel speed. There's all sorts of neat ways to.
Oh man, they've got trees. They've got skill trees, baby.
It's not skill trees. It's decision points, right? So you're like, I'll hit the mechanic, or do I fight 2 more battles for cards? Do I go this way, right? So it's got that sort of. I guess
tactical combat, car build, all of it.
Yeah, it's got all of it, and pretty neat graphics and a real strong theme in my mind. So I'm excited for that.
Death Row's tournament coming March. Oh, it's I think it's out. Yeah. I think it's out March. I think
it's already in early access from what I saw.
Yeah.
It's got like a 10% discount and all that stuff. And then so Thursday I played a bunch of games. I did the Pokemon demos, which was great. Got the pin for my kiddo. And then on Saturday is usually when we play the big board game, and I like to play a brain burner. And the crossover appeal, Jordan is so kind in learning these games for us and then walking us through how to play it. So
what game did you play?
We played La Cremosa. I'm gonna show this beast.
La Cremosa,
which I don't actually know what.
Oh, La Cremosa Mozart, right?
Yeah, La Cremosa Mozart. So what I love most about this game, right, is that you don't play Mozart. You play the patrons, right? So Constance, Mozart's dead, his biography is being written, and you are playing patrons competing via the victory points of the game to be the most renowned person in his biography. So it isn't about Mozart, except it's about your interactions with Mozart. And the gameplay is
this looks
spectacular. Look at this. So
this looks like, I think you would have more fun popping all of these pieces out of the cardboard the entire time.
I was gonna buy it, but Crossover bought it, and now I'm looking at this thing. I'm like, you're right. I would have had so much fun popping out all the pieces. So,
by the way, if anyone knows, that's one of his favorite things.
The way this game works. So even though it's big box, it's got a ton of decision points. It's got a lot of different things you can do. The turns are very simple. On the top level, that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna move, or you're gonna buy something. On the bottom level,
what's the premise of this game? Before anything,
you're trying to gain the most victory points, like all games,
right?
But them by being the most famous person in Mozart's biography. And you become the most famous person in Mozart's biography by contributing to by being a patron of the arts, by moving around to important places, by composing his final composition, by hiring composers to do his final composition, and by being part of his story, right? So there's all these sort of neat ways to do it. So crossover. Yeah, you know what? I will provide all beverages and meals for that, and the plastic baggies. I've got all the supplies. Look how beautiful
his previous lifespan. For some reason, he's got tons of little baggies from his previous life.
There's 3 resources. There are 2 different kinds of cards. There's ups and downs. There's a lot of decision points. But this is not one of those games that takes forever to learn.
What's the length of play?
I think we got it done in 3 hours, and that's with time setting up and learning how to play it and chit-chatting and things. It might have even been faster than 3 hours. But the turns went by fast is the important part. So there wasn't a lot of waiting between turns. You don't get the analysis paralysis moments where someone's sitting there for 40 minutes trying to figure out what they're going to do. When it comes around to you, you just have a limited number of options in the cards. You kind of have a good plan in place because the resources in front of you have already been decided. So there's a lot of good churn and burn. And I'm not just saying that because I won. I'm saying that because it's actually
yeah. Games like this, everything about these style of games make me want to play them. And everything about these style games makes me not want to play them. And it's nothing against the game. It's me. It's my brain and everything. It's so intimidating. I'm not saying I'm sure if I owned it and I sat down and played it and learned the rules, everything would make sense. But this is would you call it? This is definitely not a level 1 game. This is not a level 1 game. I don't think it's a level 5 game. It's probably somewhere between 3 and 4 for me. Okay.
Because if you've played other games like this, it's got pieces of all the other games you've ever played.
Right. And that's to be fair. Most of the resource and victory point style games. What are they? Are we still calling them Euro? What are we calling these?
Yeah, they're all still Euro. This one's probably the Euroest Euro.
Euro of all games.
Traveling around Europe talking about Mozart, right? You don't get more Euro than that.
You don't get more Euro than that, for sure. So, that is a style of board game, folks. So Euro, for board game talk and geekery, that's the resource collecting and the rules, and like you go down a list of rules, and then
low randomness, right? You're trying to minimize the amount of impact of randomness by building a plan and going to the victory points. I will say that this one, like a lot of Euros, you can strip away the theme, and it's just about building the perfect engine. For a lot of Euros are designed that way.
Yeah.
This one you did, despite my best efforts, I did feel the theme, right? Like even though I was trying to optimize every turn and score as many victory points, I was like, oh, I got to buy compositions to develop this particular to play this music so that I'm scoring victory points, right? So there's sort of like neat interactions here that gets you thinking about the fact that, oh, I can score victory points. You score more victory points playing church music than like other kinds of music, but you get more money for playing other kinds of music because it's more marketable, right? So there's like little things like that. And interactions that were pretty neat. This player board setup I adore. I wish every game was this.
Yeah, I'm digging this, like slide the card in to hold it so you're not like knocking it over or whatever.
You're not knocking it over. Also, in games like this, you sometimes lose track of whose turn it is or what turn it is. And this tracker tells you you're on turn 3 right now, right? So you know where everyone is. Whose turn is it? Oh, it's the jackass who still hasn't put his third card in, right? You can sort of see on the board what's going on. And there's
look at this music. Look at all the
I know you choose which composer. It's fiddly and it's fantastic. So I'm real excited to play it up here in Syracuse. I'm really glad that the crossover appeal purchased it. It's the best. It's pretty cool.
That looks cool. That looks cool.
Yeah, it looks cool. Nice brain burner, but not as brain burner as some other games.
For sure.
It's good stuff. And then I also picked up, and just because I've got 2 more minutes, I also picked up Libertalia, which is a game that went out of print years ago, and I guess went back into print with new art by a new company. I think who did this? Stonemaier Games. Stonemaier Games made it, reprinted it. And this game, I was sort of really surprised. I shouldn't say really surprised. It came recommended, right? So the person at Battlegrounds, who usually I buy the board games from, they always have a vendor there. They've been there for like 10 years. A local Boston board game company. It's called Libertalia Winds of Galecrest. This is the reprint of it. It's a limited reprint. But you basically play Sky Pirates, and you're trying to come back with the most loot. And you go out for a number of voyages. Each of the voyages are a couple of days. And you're all competing against each other. The cool thing about this game, and you played it, Joe, is that every turn, everyone gets the same exact cards.
Yeah, that was a fun game. It definitely was my speed of game.
Yeah, it was
considering
fast,
I was like
easy. We played with 3 players in speed. We played with 5 players. It's speedy. But you think to yourself, but if everyone has the same cards and you know what everyone's playing, there's a lot of rules that interact with each other when the cards are the same. So there's a lot of bluffing and a lot of trying to outthink what Joe might put down that you're going to put down, but you know that Joe knows that you know, because we all have the same cards.
Right. So, I mean, just the best way to describe it, I mean, he is describing it, but like, so one person pulls, what is it, 5 cards, 8 cards? How many? 6. They all pull 6 cards, right? So they'll have a number. So he pulls a specific number, and then he tells you, he then reads off those numbers to everyone. So then you go through your deck and pull out those same cards. So now we all have the exact same players. And of course, some are more powerful than others, and at the same time, your pirate already has, like, there's a color chart up top that gives you like reputation.
Yep.
And because that reputation, what that reputation does is it sets how powerful your pirate is, or your pirate group is. But that doesn't mean you're permanent that way. Some cards will move your reputation up or down. So every turn or every day or whatever, that reputation go up or down, etc. So sometimes it's good to be up top, and sometimes it's not. There is advantages to being lower in the reputation, because you don't pull the trigger first. You can kind of sit back and then eventually come in and attack. And the numbering scheme also means that you play a lower card, it'll sit at the bottom. But the high-end cards might like battle each other out. So what was it? The round that we played,
treasure. So if there's loot at the end of the day, you can see the nice little tokens there. They're very tactile, very nice tokens. If you're the most important pirate that's been put on the ship and it's your card that has the highest value,
right,
you can choose the best loot for yourself. But you tend to go last during the day. So there's a trade-off. You can put your high card out, hope to get the treasure, hope to get the powerful ability. but the other folks might be gunning for that position, right? There's a lot of
Right.
low-level cards that kill
Well, I
high
mean,
level.
good example was the number 15, or was the Brute, right?
17, yeah, the Brute.
17 was the Brute. So it's the character that like his entire like purpose is to just take another one out. Like he basically like a suicide bomber. He just like grabs one and runs off the board. So if 2 players play the Brute and there's a 4-player team, no one plays that round. Like no one gets anything.
Well, actually, you guys still get the loot because
the Brute still gets the loot. That's right. So and it doesn't matter how powerful your card is. So very interesting style gameplay. You think you're done, and then you do three turns, right? Three
voyages. So that this board is set up for the first voyage, 4 days, and the next voyage is 5 days, and then the last voyage is 6 days, and you're trying to score as many coins, victory points, as you can by the end of the game. It's beautiful. It's nice. The art is really not evocative. The art is really beautiful and really draws you into the world, right? It's really cool looking characters. They're like animal sky pirates. It also has a single player mode, and it has a hard mode, right? So you can play on the front side, which is nice and beautiful day, or the dark and stormy side, which has more player interactions, harder abilities to score victory points off of. And then there's a third mode, which allows you to mix and match, right? You can say treasures are worth 5 victory points or -2 because they always have curses on them. And you can sort of play around with that kind of thing. So it's got a lot of custom ability. I'm excited to play it up here because it's fast. It's like
30 minutes, 40 minutes.
It's like 7 cities, not 7 cities. 7 wonders. It's like 7 wonders fast. And it's drafting abilities and abilities like that. And it's a beautiful game. So this one will hit the game board as well. I mean, I taught my 2 brothers in like 4 minutes, and I taught you in 5, right? You were scoring points by the second turn.
I was scoring points, and I was 3 bourbons in. So like
you were screwing over everybody, 3 bourbons in. So a true pirate. So
just like a true pirate, for sure. I want to go back to this real quick. Again, there's a lot of games. I'm gonna do a longer video. I'm actually editing a video with some clips and whatever else and people I talk to.
Cool.
So I'm gonna try to throw that up before the end of the week. But that said, I want to bring this one up. This was Animal Well. This was I want to say every PAX I tend to have a game that I really was just like, I got to go back and play that.
Mm-hmm.
And the demo for this wasn't a demo. According to the developer, this is the game that they've got. Like it's the full game. They just have a timer on it. So it's like a 9-minute demo. Get as far as you can. And this is a pixel-based Metroidvania, very reminiscent to like the movement of like maybe Celeste, maybe some the floatiness and bounciness of Super Meat Boy kind of thing. But there's not really any combat. It's just puzzle after puzzle. And all the puzzles are brain teasers in a way because everything you pick up doesn't tell you what it's for. It's just like you pick up a green egg and you're like, okay, what is that for? The only combat I think I found was like eventually you run into like a little plant that's called firecrackers. And sure enough, you pick up the plant. You can only hold 3. And if something comes after you or whatever in a room, you throw a firecracker into the wind and it just starts popping and it scares the thing away. Mm-hmm. It doesn't really kill it anything. It just like runs away.
So it's tunic in a way. You don't really know what the things are. So it's
very much so. And here's the trailer. This is the trailer that they launched about a month ago. And looks great. Looks really great on like a nice TV because it's got that retro style, but it's all like a very black, like it's almost like a black CRT look with like very bright colors. So a lot of bloom, just very cool. Let me play this and you can see what I'm talking about.
A lot of bloom. You're just using technical words and you're just making stuff up. It's got a real oak finish.
Yeah, oaky afterbirth.
It's an oaky finish. Yeah, this looks great.
No dialogue boxes going, congratulations, no nothing. I mean, everything is...
It's just pretty much all about the challenge.
All about the challenge to traverse from one to another. One place to another.
This is capybaras?
Capybaras and like a dog and like riding like...
Scary cats.
This is all done by one guy.
They did a great job. It's a beautiful looking game. So it's PS5 only?
And Steam, and eventually they're working on Xbox. It's not exclusive to PS5. PS5 just happened to have thrown them the nice money to kind of,
So we should have a show at some point in the future where we talk about like beautiful developer games, but also games that are so inscrutable you can't play them.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm just like, okay, great, you made a beautiful game, but or awesome, you made a beautiful album, but no one can listen to it. Thanks, Wu-Tang, right? Something like that.
Looks like you play Beans from Dr. H. Yeah. I'm gonna say this, and I can't show a picture of it. One of the funny things is of course I played the demo long enough that I unlocked an Easter egg, and when I unlocked it, the developer laughed, Donkey laughed, and he was like, "Yeah, don't show that. We don't have the license for that."
Oh no.
We're going to try to get it. We put it in the game and we're going to try to get the license. Let's just say that there's a move set that turns you into another character just for visual purposes. If you move, it goes away. Basically, you do the move and all of a sudden you turn into another character and you're like, why is
that character from that
property? Character from that other game, from the other property that's really cool. And then
was it Mickey Mouse?
No, for sure. And they
Winnie the Pooh. It was Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, no, totally. So the developer, and I took a picture of it, and I was like, this is really cool. And of course, they were like, well, there's one more in the demo. I didn't get a chance to find the other one, but they're like, there's one more Easter egg. It turns into someone else. I couldn't find it. But sure enough, I told him, and he's like, yeah, don't post that up. Just to FYI.
No.
Yeah, so I was like, I found it.
Like the perfect Easter egg. You get to brag about finding it.
But yeah, totally. I mean,
you should make a shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I found the Easter egg. So it was nice. A specific character from another indie title, and it's just cute. And again, it's a love letter because he likes it so much. Again, the game was great. I played it. I want to say I ran through the demo like 5 or 6 times, and I made it further every time because as soon as I remembered the mechanic, I'd go back and then run through it and do that mechanic and go through it further and further. And again,
the nice game that rewards that sort of game knowledge and muscle memory. That's
cool. Yeah, for sure. So very fun. That was my game of PAX. The other one that I'm going to show real quick was one that I got to stand in line and play, and I took a picture. And this was kind of the big advertisement for PAX because it was everywhere. And this was another brawler, just like last year we had TMNT.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Yeah, let's close it on this one because that one looked great.
It looked great. It played great. I got to play it. It was phenomenal. Let me switch to this tab and see.
You got a great picture of the entire set.
Yeah.
Talked about that one for a while.
Who asked for this? I don't know, but we're getting a brawler based on the Trauma film Toxic Avenger, which is based on the cartoon based and renamed.
Where does it even take place? Right? Wasn't Toxic Crusader in New York City, the grittier New York City?
Yeah. I mean, it was like Jersey or something.
Oh, New Jersey. Yeah, that makes more sense. It looks great. It looks stupid and fun. Whoa, it looks pretty cute too.
Good art style, a lot of good moves. 4-player couch co-op, online play.
Was there ever a Toxic Crusader game?
Yes, there are a few games. As a matter of fact, there's a great episode of Angry Video Nerd where he plays a lot of them. There's a Game Boy one and NES, and they're not very good.
Come on, Crusaders! It's cleanup time.
That's hilarious. Do you remember the movie?
Toxic Avenger was the movie.
Really stupid.
Really bad, really stupid. But just like any trauma film, right? Like all the trauma films are lots of yucky blood and goo and
yucky blood, goo, melting, getting beat up, and revenge fantasies and weird buxom.
Yeah, very low budget, high effect. That's the whole point. The point is using balloons and a pump offset to explode, just all sorts of stuff. But I never understood. I really probably need to watch one of these wonderful YouTube videos out there that exist on why was this made? I'm sure there's many of them out there. How a franchise like Toxic Avenger, which was kind of already
how it even became a franchise.
How did it become a cartoon in the 80s?
Yeah.
And then get renamed to Toxic Crusader.
The 80s was a very weird time.
80s and 90s.
With my daughter explained to her Thundercats, and she's like, wait, they're called Thundercats because they're from Thundara? I'm like, yeah, that's their planet. And they're like, but why are they called Thundercats? Why are they not called Thundarans? I'm like, I don't know. It was the 80s, kiddo. None of this makes sense. And then I go, yeah, it was Lionel and Panthro and Chitara. And she's like, These
The
names are
lion.
stupid, Daddy. They're just exactly what they are.
What are you raising? What are you raising? You're like such a cynical little child. Like, oh my God.
He has a higher standard.
Yeah, your standard.
I mean, we watched stupid stuff in the 80s.
We
These
did.
people
We
were just
did.
put together to like sell toys, right? They put low effort TV. Is what, when I was like, yeah, the big bad enemy was named Mum Ra, she's like, let me guess, Mummy? And I'm like, yeah.
Oh man, it's like every bubble burst. I was like, oh, but you'll like
No,
it.
I mean, obviously I love my kid. I raise her this way, but she's just cracking me up. And she's like, because we're talking about, next year's theme shirt being Thundercats, maybe, but we're going through all the 80s cartoons. So I was explaining to her Thundercats.
So this game I bought. Apparently, this game has been out since August. It was on the show floor. They were advertising the Xbox release, which is coming out soon. And of course, one of their new DLCs. And the DLC was they added Godzilla. So I bought this game. I bought it.
Okay.
Bought it immediately. I had to buy it. I had a great time playing it on the show floor.
Here it is, everybody. Buy of the game.
This was my buy of the game. This is a it's called Gigabash. It is a multiplayer arena brawler. Basically, just like top-down, 4-player like big kaiju battles.
Sure,
is what it is. And they just released Godzilla. So
nice.
like again, Godzilla, Mechagodzilla as characters in this game, and they're
weird to have a kaiju battle without Godzilla. I'm with you.
Right. How could you have a kaiju battle? Let me pull up an actual trailer for this real quick and see if I can just like an actual gameplay, because there's a lot of like on their Steam page, they've got all sorts of like, oh, here's this and that. But itself, I'll pull the Godzilla trailer. That'll. So this just came out 3 months ago is when they announced this particular. So this is the gameplay. The game looks beautiful. I picked it up on Steam because it's not on an Xbox. I'm sure it'll come out the Game Pass, or I'll pick it up on Xbox Online or whatever, the console. But it plays great on PC, and the graphics look great. A lot of little people running around, and it just feels like Rampage in a way, and really fun and very actually tactical. It's not very button mashy. There's an actual like combat move set, so like strategy,
timing, and things like that.
Yeah, picking up buildings and throwing them, knowing the arch of your. But then, as you play and you power up, there's like a Giga mode, and you get even bigger. There you go. So that's a normal, and then eventually you'll go into Giga mode, where you get even bigger. So now you're like the big, like glowing, super powered Godzilla, and you're even bigger on the screen.
Oh, dude, that would be fun just to destroy the whole.
It's very
city.
Satisfying. That's what kind of got me. It's just got a very satisfying.
Did that say PS4? No, that didn't say
PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Steam.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, the development for this game was probably prior. They'd been working on it for a while, so it came out on PS4, and of course they patched.
That's awesome.
Again, same consoles, just more power, right?
But
yeah, that was my buy. I bought that immediately. Cool. I bought 2 games actually. I bought that, and then I bought 30XX, which is a sequel to a kind of a Mega Man tribute game. It's been on Steam, and it's also on Switch. There's 20XX. It's kind of a Mega Man procedural kind of roguelike that they built years ago. And the sequel is kind of Mega Man X style. The art style is more 16-bit, whatever, but procedural kind of roguelike. The levels can change every time, and boss battles and whatever else. If you like Mega Man and any type of Mega Man style game, 30.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think that was like $20.
I dig it.
But yeah.
So great PAX, a lot of fun. I think I'll come back next year.
Yeah. No, something like that. Something like that. Did you buy anything else outside board games? Did you buy like a T-shirt or any of that?
Yeah, I bought the standard PAX merch. I bought the mug.
The mug, a T-shirt.
Witticism, who was on earlier, thanks for joining. Walked around with it, and I said, "Okay, I've got to get that. I want it." I bought it. I showed it to my partner, and she said, "I want it. It's mine. Thank you." And I said, "Oh no!" So I had to go get online again to get my own mug.
That's awesome.
Yes,
that's awesome.
It was good.
Yeah, I picked up a few. I picked up a couple digital games. The kiddos got stuff. I picked up some pins and T-shirts, and I picked up a playmat, and I bought a keyboard and mouse combo from Gigabyte.
Oh, wow.
Was there.
So you brought back all this loot, but you couldn't bring back a 60-inch television, Joe? I don't
bring back a 16-inch television. I purposely packed for that. I pretty much left here with a half-empty suitcase for that particular reason, and just because I knew that it was gonna be like stuffed guys and whatever else. And
no, I was the jackass with the overstuffed suitcase and 2 bags walking through that trash hole of a place called South Station.
Oh,
fuck you, Boston. Fuck you.
Again, this year was Steam Deck City. A lot of people had Steam Decks and whatever else, so that was cool. And sure enough, there was a vendor that was selling Steam Deck cases, and I bought a Steam Deck case.
Dude, of course you did. Look at that nice one.
That nice Gundam-esque, maybe not legit Gundam.
Don't call it a Gundam, right?
Don't call it a Gundam, but it is a very cool looking Gundam-esque case. Fits everything. Fits the charger. Has a nice instead of it having the big cutout. If anyone's familiar with the Steam Deck case, the legit Steam Deck case has this weird cutout here on the outside with a big strap, and you basically tuck the charger there. It's just bad. I don't know. It's just a weird case. You got to make sure to wrap up the charger properly so it doesn't flop out or fall out. Now that empty space is on the inside of it, so you can put things behind the Steam Deck.
Nice.
So, but yeah, just nice case. You don't see it. I mean, there are accessories on Amazon or whatnot, but it was nice to find a small developer, a small little merch booth that was selling stuff, and
that tells me that the ecosystem for the Steam Deck is large enough to support developers.
Developers,
and that's only going to get better. All right, I need to turn in, Joe, as I have a massive sleep debt to pay. So.
Massive sleep debt. I think I got back on Monday. I got back and I was just out of it.
Crap. I went to work on Monday. I haven't stopped since. So, great show. PAX, I think, was great. It's good to be back home, but also it was great to see you in Meat Space. We already started planning next year, right? That's what it's all about. Yeah, thanks for jumping on, Rolls. Really appreciate it. Rolls, Witticism, the crossover appeal, Rita, all you folks. Tim, Crappy Video Store, jumping on. Thanks, everyone. Stay tuned for next week, right?
That was weird. Heard someone connect something. Yeah, no. Thanks, everyone. Again, like, subscribe, share. If you like this episode, please let us know. If you want to hear more about PAX, or if you see something online about a game and said, hey, did you play this? Go ahead and ask us. Fire away. Join the Discord.
Tag us on the Discord.
Tag us on Twitter, mid_geek crisis. And yeah, there we go. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. There will be more soon. Let's take care.
Like, follow, subscribe, all the good stuff. And then I guess, how do you want to say? You want to say episode? We don't know the number.
I'll put the episode up. I'll rename it. Whatever. Another episode in the can. Take care, everyone.
Be kind.